Oh, mercy me, it's hot today. Welcome back to Thomas's Moustache. Today we are going to conclude the fourth product of my 4-product shaving gear review. And I thought, what better to finish with than the Captain Fawcett disposable disposable blade straight razor. Now, a bit of background before we begin. I purchased this disposable blade straight razor back in 2019 when I decided that perhaps I wished for a change of pace when it came to shaving. Shaving was never exactly a chore to me to begin with, but it wasn't something I looked forward to. So I thought, I think now is a good time to explore the alternative world of shaving brushes and soaps and razors and what have you, and enjoy the fine art of shaving with a disposable blade straight edge razor. Now, interestingly enough, Captain Fawcett at the time, they sold the disposable blade straight razor, but they also sold a traditional straight razor, which is to say one that the blade is the razor. It is not requiring any additional blades. It is the blade. And I was very much tempted to buy it, and I considered it for a very long time. I believe it was £100, but it was just so beautiful. It had a bone handle, and the craftsmanship just looked amazing. But I decided against it because I live in a very humid, tropical, hot climate, and I worried that even with my greatest care, the blade would suffer because of the climate. So I opted instead for the slightly more affordable disposable blade straight-edged razor, which you can see here. Now, I have been using this disposable blade straight edge razor dedicatedly for the past 3 years. I do not use anything else except for this particular item. So today you are going to see it's not only a review, it's a 3-year review. And to tell you the truth, I believe the item to be in almost perfect condition, which is quite amazing. Yes, I have dropped it. Unfortunately, I think once or twice into the sink, but no dings, no dents. The shaft of it here is plastic. It is an ivory color, but it is plastic, which is 2 pieces joined together. The metallic part here is on a swivel. It is pinned through. It looks to be a sort of riveting, which I have had no problem. I can hold it at any angle. Slowly it comes down, but the stiffness is quite reasonable. So, if you're worried that this is going to slip and fall onto your finger, it's quite unlikely, because even here you'll have plenty of time to react before it gives you the chop. Now, the stand here does not come with the disposable blade straight razor. I bought that separately, but I thought presentation is incredibly important in one's shaving cabinet. So I have purchased the stand from an alternative source, of course. Now, a few points about this particular item is the price tag on the Captain Fawcett website is, I believe it is £25 sterling. And I will now tell you the description of the item here. Disposable blade straight razor. Captain Fawcett's disposable blade straight razor is a beautifully crafted, indispensable tool that's just the ticket for those wishing to discover and experience the pleasure and intimate closeness of a traditional wet shave. The razor comes housed in a delightful box, ideal for transportation and indeed gifts. Fully open, it is 21 centimeters long. So near about a foot. Now, as I said in the previous video in which I reviewed my Derby Extra double-edged blades, disposable blades, I said today I would show you how to place them into the disposable blade straight razor. You will find that the disposable blade straight razor has a clasp on top, which has the Captain Fawcett name on it. You will lift the clasp, which will release the two parts from each other. As this is not a single piece of metal, it is two. Now, in the middle of these two pieces of metal, there is a thumbnail indentation, which you place your thumbnail in between the two halves, and you lift the one side slightly from each other, and it will separate with no effort, like so. Make sure that the clasp is fully removed from over the top of both pieces, or it may not separate easily. Now, on the disposable blade straight razor, you are going to find two things. On one side of the disposable blade straight razor, you are going to see two holes. On the other side, you are going to see two lumps of metal, which you can see right here, two lumps of metal, and here, two holes. Now, you may remember in the previous video, I have freshly broken a blade in half. So with this blade, you will see that there are many grooves and indentations. On the sides, you will see a rather large groove on each side. These two grooves will fit perfectly over the two lumps of metal on the one side of the disposable blade straight razor. So you will put them so that the lumps of metal are perfectly going into those little grooves. So you will push the blade up against those two little grooves. Now what you will then do is, holding it down, you will lower the other side of the metal here, and just like so, wow, it never usually goes that simple, until the side is pressing the blade in between the two halves. Now, you don't want to cover those two lumps of metal, because those two lumps of metal need to go into the alternative side's holes. Then you will lower the clasp, which even with a blade in between the two halves, the clasp will lower with minimum effort. Now the blade is locked in place in between the two halves, with the clasp pulled down over top. To remove the blade, it is quite simple. It is just the opposite of those steps. One observation I can tell you is, and it's no fault of the razor, it's oftentimes the fault of the blade's snapping, is when you take a blade, like so, and you fold it like so, and you press together and snap the blade in half, the little pieces of metal that hold the two halves of the blade together, when that snaps, it will be this shape, right? So each side is actually folded slightly. I find that when inserting the blade into the disposable blade straight razor here, the best thing to do is to have those pieces of metal folding against that side of the half of the arm here, the shaft of it. That will at least reduce difficulties when it comes to bringing the other half down over top of it. But one thing is, sometimes the act of bringing the halves down together will push the blade out of position. And it happens to me rather frequently, but it is no issue. What you can do is just take a business card and hold the blade in place by pressing the very edge of the blade, just so that when you're lowering the other half over top of the blade, it will not move out of place. But I can assure you, you will know it is out of place when you lower it. The blade angle will be unusual in between the two halves. So just lift the half up again, readjust, and then lower again. That perhaps will take the most practice, but eventually you will get it. You'll get the tricks down, but even after 3 years, I do still have that issue occasionally. But it is no problem, because once the blade is perfectly set in between the two halves, it will not move. It will be perfectly how you wish it to be. So if you arrange it to be perfectly straight and the sides are clasped together, it will remain perfectly straight. Now, when I finish my shave, I do release the clasp, I open the two halves, and I wash both sides and the blade individually. And then I store the blade separate from the disposable blade straight razor. Some people, perhaps, when they finish the shave, they'll just leave the blade in the razor. And that's perfectly fine. But for me, I always remove the blade. And then the next time I'll reinsert the blade and I will go again. So just remember how many shaves you have on each blade, of course, so that you're not using a old blade, because that will begin to cause some issues. Now, I hope that you found that review to be rather educational. I would highly recommend this product. I've considered getting a double-edged safety razor, but I thought, well, I am in a way on a budget, so I thought I would just stick with the one I have here. But Captain Fawcett does sell a double-edged safety razor, and I hear good things. I know the design is quite good, but I've just not got around to trying it out yet. But this certainly does the trick, and it adds a sense of pizzazz to your shave every morning. So, in conclusion, after 3 years of dedicated use, this product is in incredible condition. I am rather surprised, actually. The plastic has remained perfectly joined. The metal has not a spot of rust anywhere on it. I imagine it is stainless steel, but you do know stainless steel even can have issues at times. So this is quite incredible. The Captain Fawcett name on the blade has remained in perfect condition, and on the body, the handle of the disposable blade straight razor, the small logo there is as well in perfect condition. I quite enjoy using this. Shaving should be a time of reflection, a time of peace. Sometimes when I'm shaving and I have too much to think about, I end up cutting myself. So shaving should be the period of time in your day where there are no worries. Now, in the next video, which I will be releasing a day after this video, in which I am doing this particular review, I will be using all of these products together to shave my chin and underlip. And I believe that you will find that to be most enjoyable. So stick around and look forward to that, as that will be happening tomorrow as of releasing this video today. Until next time, I'm going to say, Too-da-loo.